It's the super committee meeting for the first time tomorrow. It is supposed to find more than $1 trillion in savings. And today, Republican leaders saying that, well, they'll succeed. But my next guest says spending will still go up, and so will your taxes. And Betsy McCaughey is the former New York lieutenant governor and the only person on the planet to have thoroughly read the health care laws. So listen to her. Listen to her now. Betsy, good to see you.
Thank you. And the Budget Control Act is pretty depressing reading, too. This new debt deal that was cobbled together on August 2nd.
Well, they say, the Republicans are saying they could do a lot of this without raising taxes. You have your doubts.
Well, I think they could. But here's the bitter truth of it. You've heard people on both sides of the aisle sell this deal as giving the American public $1 of spending cuts for every $1 of debt hike. The truth is that the deal gives the president license to borrow between $2.1 and $2.4 trillion in the next 6 months. And what do we get in return? $917 billion.
To borrow, in other words, to leverage off of this, like a credit line.
That's right, a credit line,
okay.
Just a line of credit. What do we get? Well, $917 billion in, quote, cuts, but only $21 billion of those occur in the next year. The rest are pushed way out, most of them beyond 2016. Well, we know from history that those cuts will never happen.
And by the way, a future Congress and future presidents are not obligated to do this.
Of course not. No future Congress is bound by this deal. So we're actually getting a penny of cuts for every $1 of debt hike.
So you're essentially saying that the couple of weeks I was essentially living in that hot hell, covering this debt nonsense was a waste.
Well, it's very unfortunate. And here's the second part of it.
But you are saying it was a waste.
Yes. The second part of it is this. The super committee is now tasked with reducing the deficit by another $1.5 trillion or so. Well, reducing the deficit is not the same as reducing spending. In fact, it's kind of a shell game what it does is it gives them the license to raise taxes. And we've heard the Obama administration try to sell the idea of a balanced approach, meaning spending cuts and tax increases.
All good. And this is where you lose me because you're so damn smart. I had David Stockman here, the former budget director for Ronald Reagan, and he said the best you can hope to do, and the best Ronald Reagan did, with whom he worked, was stunt the growth. Slow the growth. That's the best we're talking about.
Well, that's clearly the case. And
so that's the best we can hope for?
In Washington lingo, that's all this deal gave you. Even the $917 billion in future paper promises of cuts, they're not really reductions in spending. They're reductions from what they plan to spend, but they're more than current spending. That baseline budgeting has been bamboozling.
It's a joke. You're saying, that's McCaughey saying it's a joke.
Well, it's very unfortunate because it's not funny. But getting to the second half of this deal, the super committee will likely raise taxes. But remember, the Obama health law already raised taxes $503 billion, and this deal presumes the expiration of
that revenue is built in.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And this also presumes the expiration of the Bush tax rates. That's another $3.5 trillion in tax hikes. So you're starting with a lot of tax hikes already on the table.
Well, I was feeling pretty good until you came up here, Betsy. But thank you. You know, the effects on not eating my supper and losing weight, it works. And congratulations. Betsy McCaughey, thank you very, very much.